Hi there, I'm Richard. Welcome to Burning Spears. Today I'm going to be cooking a dirty rump steak. So no, you don't drop it on the floor and then put it back on the fire when no one else is looking. That's not a dirty rump steak. In this case, a rump steak directly on coals, on red hot embers. So there's a few things to know and a few things to do correctly to achieve a good result. And today I'm going to be doing it on mopani coals. So mopani is a very well-known Southern African hardwood. It's one of the densest woods in the world. And Namibian Hardwood UK supplied me this lovely little bouquet of mopani. It's the first time I've cooked on mopani. I've heard about it. My mother, incidentally, growing up in Zimbabwe or Rhodesia as it was then, that was the braai wood of choice. So happy to do this today on these mopani coals. Extreme high heat. This wood burns very, very hot. And the heat output is great. So it's going to be perfect for this application. I've generally done it on other woods, so it's going to be a nice little learning curve for me. So let's light this fire and then get on to the ingredients. So to prep your steak, you've got to keep something in mind. When there's a layer of moisture on the surface of your meat, if you were to braai it or put it on coals, that moisture is going to steam and stop that Maillard reaction for a certain amount of time until that moisture disappears. So when you've got such a short time, like on a dirty rump, you don't want there to be any time delay as possible because the steak's not on there long. And you want to get as much Maillard reaction and crust as possible. So typically I would dry brine the piece of steak overnight. Dry brining is just putting salt on, popping it in the fridge, uncovered like this, overnight. That's a great way to prep your steak for a good braai or a good grill. Now, always use a tray like this with the rack so that there's airflow underneath, because what happens if your steak is on a flat surface, that moisture is just going to stick there, and certainly when you salt it, it's not going to pull back in. So overnight would be great. I didn't have that luxury to do it yesterday for today's video, so I'm going to show you two alternative methods. One is going to be dry brined, uncovered in the fridge for as long as possible. This should be for a minimum of like 2 hours. And you might be shocked at the amount of salt that goes on, but trust me, it's the way to do it. So I'm going to pop it, I'm going to do one now. I'm going to pat it dry with a towel, pop it in the fridge for as long as I can. Should be about 2 hours, weather pending. I hope you can hear me, incidentally. Then the other way is going to be immediately before the cook. So again, if you were to put salt on and wait 15-20 minutes, that salt's going to pull moisture out the meat. Then you're going to have the same wet effect. But if you wait longer, like an hour, 2 hours, the reverse osmosis, so the water the moisture will come out, then reverse osmosis will happen and it'll go back in, taking some of the salt in and seasoning your meat, which is half the point of it. So either you do that a few hours before, but a fridge accelerates that process. So that's that section. The other one I'm going to do is immediately beforehand. I'm going to pat it dry, I'm going to put salt, and it goes on. I'm not using pepper on the steak during the cook because pepper won't normally burn. There's a lot of claims when you grill it and you grill it high heat, it's going to burn. But no, it won't, because it's sitting, it's got moisture in, and there's oils and all of that sort of thing. So it doesn't burn and go accurate. I mean, we've all put pepper on our steak and grilled, right? So the reason why I'm not putting black pepper on during the cook is that you want direct contact from your coal to your meat. You want that, and you want it to stick and really get that Maillard reaction going, the caramelization. Now, if you have pepper, it's just going to not let that contact area be as good. And this is all about that contact area, as you will see. So I'm just going to prep the one, and then later you'll see me prep the one just before I cook. I hope that makes sense. Right, so this will go in the fridge uncovered. Bit hard to tell under lights, but the fridge dry cured rump steak has got a nice waxy look to it. It's nice and dry, whereas you can see, hopefully under lights, the moisture that I will get off on the one that's been left alone. Right, so this is looking good, and then this one will get done just before we cook. Just salt again. Right, so let's talk coal beds. So because this is a dense hardwood, it's really going to give great coal structure. And you want at least 50 millimeters of coal. You'll see why as I talk through the next stage. Why to have lots of coals is required. So you want to get a nice even coal bed and break down any hard bits. And then on the side I'm going to put one log just to give a bit of smoke. Always have that smoke, that flavor come through. So you want your coal bed as flat as possible so that it makes contact with the steak. Now, if heaven forbid you have to use charcoal, you're going to want to make sure that there's not too much ash, and you'll see me stir through on the second stage to clear ash. Now, you don't have to wait for this to cool down like you would normally. You're going to go on. Push it on. Okay, you want to get your timing pretty good on the amount of time it spends on each side, so you get an even cook. So I'm going to go for like 1.5 minutes here. Don't be scared of anything sticking to it. Ash and coal is quite a neutral flavor. You'll see the ash on there, and that's why it's a dirty steak, right? So now I'm just going to get the bed all fresh, because you can see how dark that coal is from where it was in contact with the meat. I want to get fresh, super hot stuff. Okay, so I've just temped the steaks. They're sitting at 40 and 42 degrees. I want to come up to 46 or so. So back on they go. So I've pulled them off now. I'm going to let them rest. It's quite a cold day, so I probably won't rest more than 3 to 5 minutes. Of course, the longer the better. But as explained, the Maillard reaction is a bit different. But beautiful results. You saw the amount of flame in the beginning. You would have think that would have burnt horribly. But of course, with the inherent moisture in that's in the surface and throughout the meat, it's not going to turn to ash and turn to cinder just like that. There is a little bit of black carbon and a bit of ash on there and all of that, but trust me, that all adds to the flavor, hence why this is such a great thing to do. While it's resting, I'm just going to do some flatbread and some salad to serve with, and can't wait to taste this. Right, show and tell. Yep, not bad at all. Pretty good. I hope you can see it under lights. The still photo should show the color better. Bit of sinew running through the middle of that, c'est la vie. Okay, so the one that was salted just before, super tender, juicy. That's good. Meaty. With that short time of cook, where's the moisture got to go? It stays inside. It's running away from that extreme heat. The difference is immense. And you can see by the Maillard reaction of the dry cured one compared to the Maillard reaction on the one that was salted just before the cook. Big difference. So that is definitely the way that you should push it. If you can do the overnight cure, dry brining, dry cure, then that's the way to go. Great stuff. So I'm going to carve up. Just going to have this on the flatbreads, tomato and salad, as you saw, with a bit of parmesan on top. And that's my favorite way to eat steak these days. That's going to be just beautiful. Right, so the dirty rump. Served in an elevated way, slightly elevated. Apart from being a showstopper, a talking point, the Maillard reaction is incredible. The flavor is incredible. The meatiness that comes out is amazing when it's cooked like that. But it is a little bit more effort than a normal braai steak. It ended up being probably about 2.5 minutes per side. I would stick to a steak that's 1.5 inches thick. I wouldn't go a thicker one. I probably wouldn't go a thinner steak than that either. That I'll just get inflamed. But for this application, this size, really, really good. And on the mopani coals, the heat output of that wood is phenomenal. Really, really stunning. So it was great to do, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see you again soon. Now, if you excuse me, I've got to get that into my gob. So until next time, please like and subscribe if you liked this video. And that's it.